Resiliency is a big thing for our younger generation, is that anytime they're encountering like an obstacle, my suggestion is, they kind of retreat and they're like, oh my gosh, this is too hard. Like I don't want to do it. But you got to, keep on pushing forward. Where there's one door that closes, there's going to be another one that opens. And just because that door closed in front of you doesn't mean there was something wrong with you. It just meant that wasn't the opportunity that you needed.
Welcome to the Hope in Real Life podcast with Jason Gore. Our team is passionate and committed to bringing you more hope in the everyday, real areas of your life. If this conversation and content is valuable for you, please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and even share. You never know how valuable it could be to share a little bit of hope with someone else. Let's get the conversation started. Well, welcome to this episode of Hope in Real Life. I'm here with a very special guest this week and friend of mine, Miss Natalie Pulley. Please welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Greetings and salutations. I'm happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Hey, this episode we are talking about a very important topic. We're talking about empowering women in leadership. And now listen, I know right out of the gate, we got a lot of men that are listening to this and thinking, hey, maybe this isn't for me. I'm telling you right now, stay right where you are. We just had a pre-production meeting. We talked through this is for everybody, and you're going to leave a better man after spending time in this conversation. Well, Natalie, welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it.
Highlights, I know, wife, mom, assistant principal at Garner High School. Yeah. But why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Oh, gosh. So I don't like to talk about myself, but, if I must,
that's what you're here to do.
All right, I'll say a little bit about me. I'm fairly young in my dealings, but I feel like I've done a whole lot. So I am a mom. My oldest is, 22. I don't feel like she's 22, right? But I have 4 children, wife. I've been married over a decade, almost 15 years now. I'm assistant principal, love what I do.
In your words, what is leadership?
Oh, so leadership is really big, right? So leadership can be a lot of different things. I can be a leader in my home. I can be a leader in my community, even in marriage. And so for me, leadership is taking charge of something that you have a passion about and that you're wanting to lead the charge to do. So I'll take like myself as a leader. I'm thinking about who am I empowering? Am I managing people? Am I managing processes? In my background, I've been in financial industries. I've been an investment banker, and now I'm in education. And through all of that, I've taken a look at, what is the culture of the building that I'm in? Leading a process is simply saying I can do 1, 2, 3. Like leading people, you have to know like who they are, what do they need, how do they feel, how do they think,
what motivates them, what are they looking for out of life.
Totally. And when you're a leader, people are looking at you to say like, what can I get from you, what can I gain from you? And so some of that takes a look at like who you are as a person, like what do you have inside of you that you're wanting to give to someone else, because sometimes you don't realize that you embody a lot of principles and a lot of characteristics that someone else has, and unless you share it, you can't even connect with someone else. We can kind of be introverted as human beings sometimes because we're afraid to share and we're afraid to like grow and learn from other people. But when you're in a leadership role, you're there to tell your story. Because sometimes your story is 1, 2, 3, 4 other people's stories, and then it comes a domino effect, when you're talking one-on-one to somebody, So leadership just encompasses, standing out in the forefront, having a vision, and even if it's like writing it down, having a vision board, what's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? Your 10-year plan? Knowing what it is that you're wanting in life. It can be something as simply as small as doing a podcast, right? Yeah. It can be something simple, but knowing that you're going to be impactful in some kind of way, that's what leadership is about.
Yeah, and what's, I think a lot of people, if they're not careful, and especially if they haven't experienced healthy leadership yet in their life, the temptation could be to think it's about, hey, how do I get these people to do this thing? And what I hear you describing is hey, that's actually a small portion of it. Mm-hmm. It's actually, how do I add value to these people's lives so that they can move into their preferred future?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you, let's say, for example, in my professional life, right? I'm leading students, but I'm not just leading the students, I'm leading the staff, I'm leading processes. And you can have different types of leadership. You have leaders that are managers and leaders that are leaders of people, right? You can be a leader of processes and you can be a leader of people, but when I walk in the building, I am someone that is a resource for my staff, resources for parents. And sometimes you don't know what those resources may be. I'll think about my week, just even this week, where you have students that are suffering from food insecurity. You have parents that are suffering from financial insecurity. You have staff members that are doing both same things and are all struggling around trying to figure out what the answer is. And sometimes it's really just, they're not looking for you to solve it, but they need a place to vent. Right. They need a place to execute that. And so sometimes you're just offloading piece of their day to make them feel like, okay, it's not hopeless and it's not, over and I can get through this. And you're really empowering them as an individual to know that this is just a small portion of who they are and what their day is going to look like, and they can get through it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You just mentioned a little bit about challenges that people might face. I'd love if you'd share just a little bit about your leadership journey, and then specifically, what type of barriers or challenges have you faced along the way?
Yeah. So my journey into leadership really kind of started at a younger age, and I'll say inspiration wise, there were people that were in my life that I looked up to. As a young child, and I was always real big on watching TV, because in many years ago there were very few minority faces that you could see as role models. And so I would look up to people like the Huxtables, Cliff and Claire were the ideal people. And you always wanted to be like them, because you're one's a doctor and one's a lawyer. And then I had a kindergarten teacher, and she was the sweetest person whatsoever. And I said, I want to be like her when I grow up. So I went through school, got my bachelor's, got my, 2 master's degree. And then I was like, well, what's next? Right. Yeah. And so I happened to be visiting one of my sorority sisters, and their next door neighbor came out, and we were talking, and he's like, Natalie, you'd be really good in leadership. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, that's not my thing. I'm real humble, real quiet. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. He was like, you should do it. So I came out of the classroom, kind of jumped into it about, 3-4 years ago. And I was like, what am I doing? I was like, okay, what's my vision? And my epitome moment was kind of that aha moment. It was someone asked me, what kind of leader do you want to be? And I paused for a moment. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know.
Right.
But that's a good thing though, because it made me think deeper about the impact that I wanted to have. So from there, the challenge was defining who I was, defining who I needed to be. And then I sat for a minute and I was writing my journal going, what am I going to be as a leader? And that leader said to me, and it came to me I was writing down, and I said, before I leave this earth, whatever that looks like, I wanted to be able to say that I inspired someone, something that I said, something that I did, something that I wrote, something they heard me say. Even doing this podcast right now, I wanted it to be can somebody benefit from what I'm saying? Can I inspire someone that may be going through a challenge? They may be saying I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. I don't have enough gas to put in my car. What does that look like? I wanted it to be that I could influence someone and know that there's someone else out there in that world that's like me, that has had the same challenges, that may even had the same successes, but Natalie did something, that inspired them. The challenge came, realizing that when you get into leadership, sometimes it is a very lonely world. Yeah. Being a business owner, doing so many different things. Sometimes you realize there's competition, there's jealousy. Sometimes there's, sabotage and whatever you're doing. So you really have to be resilient. Have to really think about how am I going to persevere through the challenges? It may be starting your small business, and you're like, well, how am I going to pay for it? And you're like, I got to pay the bills, I got to pay the mortgage, I got to pay all the car things. But I still have this vision around, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to own my own brick and mortar. I want to do these things, but how do I get it done? So the challenge is really going to be being resilient, knowing I still want to be motivated. keeping yourself inspired, and then looking for positive role models that you can get under and get that coaching and get that mentorship. Yep. Someone that you can connect with, because it's kind of like having like that life coach, right? You got to have that person that's going to keep you going when you're like, I just want to give up. Because there's days that I'm like, I want to give up.
Right. Hope in Real Life family, I want to take a moment and let you know about a resource that we have for you for your own personal development, spiritual enrichment, and really a way for you to find a bit more hope in real life. We have a tool for you called the Hope in Real Life app. It offers things like parenting tips, financial resources, marriage insights. If you're looking for it, there's even Bible reading plans in there. And there's a community where you can even share prayer requests and know that someone is praying for you for whatever it is that you have going on in your life. It's available right now in the Apple App Store or in Google Play. You can search Hope in Real Life in both stores, or you can use the download link that is in the show notes. Remember, tomorrow can be better than today, and hope is possible even in real life. What you just said, you hope that you say something that inspires people. And again, going back to leadership is not this idea of continually telling people what to do. I've heard someone say before, most people won't remember what you told them to do. They're going to remember how you treated them feel.
Yeah, how you made them feel.
And you just said you want to inspire people. And so I think for an aspiring leader, like recognizing, man, that comes from, like you said, sharing your story, listening to other people's stories, and then finding out how your story can actually help them move forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you never know, like, it's a day-to-day situation, when you're in the forefront, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what aspect that you look at in leadership, there's always going to be somebody that you just don't know that you reached that day.
Yeah.
You may have simply been in passing, and they're like, they might have been listening, and sometimes, and that's the biggest thing. When I got into leadership, as far as my professional world, they always tell you, you want to get all the kids. And I said, I'm not here to save all the kids, right? Because you can't necessarily do that. You can't save the world. But I did say, if I can reach one child, if I can make one impact, if I can do that in the world, if I can reach one person, no matter what it was that I was doing, whether it's in my community, whether it's with my church, whether it's with my sorority, I wanted to be able to do one good thing for one person, for one something that someone would remember me by. Yeah. And for me, that made it all worth it.
Yeah. Okay, so we said we were going to talk about empowering women in leadership. I'd love to hear, how do you make a point in your life to actually develop and invest in other women leaders?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think that comes with, for me, I always want to make sure that I'm talking to someone and saying, like, what are your goals? Asking questions, because sometimes we are not always active listeners. We're active speakers. And so listening is a big part of what I do. Whenever I have the opportunity to meet someone, especially in, the community, I listen to what they say. Because sometimes words are very impactful around, like, what people are telling you. So as an active listener, and knowing that once I can kind of listen to what they're saying, then, I want to sit down and have a conversation. Like, well, how do you plan to reach that goal? Getting someone to think critically about, what they're doing, what their goal is, and how they're going to achieve it. I also, too, try to inspire women by saying that you can do it. It is possible to. Society has not always been very welcoming of women into leadership roles or into any capacities, which, if we can go back to like the 1920s when you're talking about women's suffrage, there hasn't always been a time where a woman's voice was heard or equal, like sitting here now, that maybe that wasn't a thing necessarily, 30, 40 years ago or plus. And we're still kind of in that same mentality today. And so now we have to take other people that are in our same genre or even not, and give them the hope and give them the inspiration, give them the motivation and encouragement to know that whatever that challenge is you're going through and whatever your aspiration is, please do it. Because you know what? We need someone like you, because the world has to keep going. We have to continue to, have that cycle of life. So I want that in that same type of mentality with someone else that I can get to do and get them to build up.
So I have a 15-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm one who is well aware of
the challenges.
The challenges, yes. But let me say this, the strengths that women do bring to leadership. 100%. I mean, even in our studio right now, we have Elena and Haley, who are huge driving force in making.
And they're awesome too, by the way.
They are. They do a fantastic job in making this podcast happen. And so they leverage their, whether it's my wife who works. I mean, we have who works full time, who also, I mean, if I'm honest, is juggling and is
juggling a lot.
Primary, a huge influence in our family and the life of our kids. I know what you do for our community, but I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and I would say that she shows leadership. I would say like the roots of leadership, in her life as strongly as any other 15-year-old boy, girl that I've ever seen, which brings with it some beautiful things.
Yes.
And also some challenges.
For sure.
But what would you say to a young lady who has aspirations of using a leadership gift in the world, in the community, in the workplace, wherever that would be?
First thing is, don't give up, right? Don't ever give up, no matter what you are encountering, like stay positive, right? Stay goal oriented. Yeah. You have to be in the mentality that I am enough. I am everything that I need. And also don't let the outside influences, we have social media. Oh my goodness. Social media is like, it's a positive, but it's also to a detriment. And so I know it's like, you want to be a TikTok sensation, and that's great, but after TikTok fade, have gone away, what is your next thing from there and how to be inspirational? But, just to be not giving up, staying motivated, staying resilient, because, it's not going to be easy. Resiliency is a big thing for our younger generation, is that anytime they're encountering like an obstacle, my suggestion is, they kind of retreat and they're like, oh my gosh, this is too hard. Like I don't want to do it, but you got to, keep on pushing forward. Where there's one door that closes, there's going to be another one that opens. And just because that door closed in front of you doesn't mean there was something wrong with you. It just meant that wasn't the opportunity that you needed. So
can you, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I want you to say that, I think, as the kids say, one more time for the people in the back. Because I actually do think, and you've said this word resilience a couple times, and I do have this belief, and I think it's based on the fact that we do have social media, that we can order things Amazon Prime, we can get on Netflix
right at your doorstep
right away. So we expect things to happen overnight.
Yep.
And so can you just say that one more time for those that are like, hey, I have aspirations of leaders, but a door was shut, or I don't dress a certain way, or I don't speak a certain way, but I do have these aspirations.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stay resilient and keep pressing forward. Yeah. I'll take me in my professional capacity. Before I got into leadership, I probably went on a dozen plus interviews, and that's okay. But it built up my ability to know, like, okay, this is what I expect. I learned something from it. Each opportunity that I didn't get, say at school, I was still able to learn something. I was able to glean something from every interview that I went on. It helped me build up my capacity, right? And that's what is the big key when you are hit with a door closing in your face. Someone, maybe you wanted to have that brick and mortar building, or, maybe you want to be that YouTube sensation, but you don't have enough followers, you don't have enough subscribers. That's okay. You learn from it, you analyze it, you look at, okay, well, what's the competitive edge? What's the comparative analysis to it? You have to really dig a little bit deeper into, well, why didn't it work out for you? Yeah. And that's okay. When that door closes, that may just not been the door for you right there, but you learn from that experience, and then you take from that and say, well, what can I do on the next one? So the next time you go and say, hey, listen, I got this, proposal for you, would you mind being, a sponsor for it? And they say, oh, not this time. That's okay. Maybe you add a little bit more in your sponsor letter. Maybe you do something a little bit different. So the next time you get ready to go up for that opportunity, you'll be a better prepared. And that resiliency is a big one. If we can get kids to, be in that okay with saying no, they'll be much well off, but much better off.
Hope in Real Life family, we just want to take a moment and let you know about a resource that is available to you. I know a lot of our listeners aren't necessarily active in a church, might not even be a Christian. We are still thankful that you're spending time with us. However, we do get asked regularly, how can we find out more about your church, or even just about this Jesus guy? And so if that is you, I want you to know you can tune in to gethope.tv. We have live services on Saturday, 4:15 p.m. and 6 p.m., or on Sunday at 9:30 a.m. or 11:15 a.m. Those are Eastern Standard Times. If you can't tune in during those times, we will drop our YouTube link as well as our podcast link down in the show notes. We would love to have you join in with us. Let's keep sharing some hope. Thank you so much for taking the time to join.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been fun.
Yeah, we will definitely have you back.
For sure. I love to come on back.
Awesome.
Talk about all day long. So I love it. I appreciate you.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, if you found this episode beneficial for you, or maybe somebody came to your mind that you knew would benefit from hearing these thoughts on leadership, or what it means to bust through barriers, or to stay focused, to think critically about what it is that they feel like they're called into, and to stay resilient through that, please share this with them. You never know how much benefit that can provide to somebody who actually needs a bit of hope right where they are in life. We will see you guys on the next episode. Natalie, thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been great. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Love you guys. See you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Hope in Real Life podcast. If this content was valuable for you, don't forget, like, subscribe, share. You never know how important it could be to bring a little hope into someone else's life. There's even a place here for you to comment. We would love to hear from you and hear your feedback. Until next time, let's keep sharing hope.